Hello, 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 my brothers and sisters. Happy Saturday. Thank you if you're watching on the replay, thank you for watching. This video is very important, I think, for all of us to listen to and reflect about. I was reading some quotes by Abraham Lincoln this morning, and I felt it apropos with all the opinions and all the confusion and rhetoric going on right now. I want to talk about the greatest miracle I think the United States ever experienced. Abraham Lincoln said a quote at a time when this not even fully formed country was at its peak of despair, peak of war, peak of contention and contradiction of the values that we profess. He said, "With malice toward none, with charity for all, with firmness in the right, as God gives us to see the right, let us strive on to finish the work we are in, to bind up the nation's wounds, to care for him who shall have borne the battle, and for his widow and his orphan, to do all which may achieve and cherish a just and lasting peace among ourselves and with all nations." With charity for all and malice towards none. With everything that is happening right now, with all the news and all the experts and all the political rhetoric and all the confusion and depression and despair, I want you to keep in mind the greatest miracle that ever came out of the United States Civil War, a war that 620,000 U.S. soldiers died in. Almost more soldiers died in the U.S. Civil War than all other wars of the United States combined. And that was at a time when it was not even a fully formed country. And the greatest miracle, I believe, that came from the United States Civil War wasn't that slavery was abolished, although important, although an egregious evil, although vile to the utmost of humanity. That wasn't the greatest miracle. Why? Because slavery had been abolished in 1802 in the British Empire. Slavery has been going on around the world. Saudi Arabia, look up when Saudi Arabia abolished slavery. It was in the 1970s. But the greatest miracle of the U.S. Civil War that came out of that is that southern states are not considered second-class states in this country. That Southerners are not considered second-class citizens in this country. I want you to think about that. How is it that 622,000 soldiers die in a war of not even a fully formed country? And then after the war, we healed and became one people again. With issues, yes. Did racism go away? No. Did all the ills of humanity go away? No. However, what did go away is the division amongst states and the acceptance that the states that had rebelled with the Confederacy were fully brought back into right standing. And I want you to consider this right now. There is so much rhetoric regarding who is right. I was talking to someone earlier. They said half the world believes that COVID's real. Half the world believes that it's not real, which is a division. And yet, I want to ask you a question. Perhaps consider, isn't this the time to look within you, as opposed to worry what's outside your four walls right now? Isn't this perhaps the greatest gift humanity's ever been given? This time of leveling, this time of humility, this time of groundedness, this time of letting everything come out of you that is surfacing, the fear, the depression, the trauma, the anger, the despair, the rage, the questions. Let it all come out. But let it come out with the purpose of you healing, not you pointing fingers, not you casting stones. For we are all in this together. And together, we get to heal. And together, we get to see the change we want to bring about in this world. I believe this, and I want everyone to hear this. Where love is present, truth will come forth, resulting in our personal freedom. Love, whatever your relationship is with love, whether you have an aversion to it, you're confused about it, this word has been bastardized and weaponized to attack and manipulate, but real love gives it your highest good to you always. And the universal law, the universal structure, the universal origin, the beginning of all that is, the cyclical cycles of seasons and days and weeks, all is based in love. It's always giving. So I want to ask you, where are you keeping love from allowing your truth to come forth and your freedom to take place? Spend less time looking at politics. Spend less time looking at news headlines. Spend less time consuming that which you have no control over. And take the time to see what is being revealed inside you right now. If fear is being brought up to the surface, then you have carried this fear with you since you were a child. If depression is being brought up to the surface, then depression has been carried with you since you were a child or at some point. Everything that's coming up, because some people who have gone through trauma and have healed from it and dealt with it, they're doing great. And to some, this is the most traumatic thing that humans have ever gone through. And guess what? Both are okay. Why I bring up the American Civil War is, if we healed as a nation after that, we can certainly heal as a nation after this. It's not hard. It's not difficult. The formula isn't complicated. It is to love people and be the safe permission for them to share their truth without getting triggered, without getting upset, but simply with logic and clear rhetoric and articulation of thought. Share and listen so that our freedom can become the most real experience that we've ever experienced. Because we didn't shy away from the dark things. We didn't turn our eyes from that ugly truth sometimes that gets revealed, but we looked at it. We acknowledged it. We spoke from our heart that which we experienced so that we can be free. It doesn't matter who is president of the United States of America. If you're not a healthy individual, they're not going to fix you. It doesn't matter who is running your state. If you're not a healthy individual, they're not going to fix you. The only one who can fix you, the only one that can heal you, the only one that can deliver you is you. You having the courage to squarely face that which you are most afraid of, look at it, and then speak with courage right to it. And those of you who have gone through traumatic experiences in your life from childhood through today, this is your time to look at it. And let me ask you, this is how you get to look at it. If you had a child right now, and you thought you were tasked with raising that child to be the most healthy, beautiful human that has ever graced planet Earth, would you treat the child the way you were treated? And if you wouldn't treat that child the way you were treated, then you get to look at the things that you would not do unto this child that were done unto you. And you get to look at, what did those actions cause in you? What disassociation, what bifurcation, what confusion, What abdication of your own power and your own responsibility has happened from those moments? For those of you who were bullied your whole life and no one came to rescue you, and now you feel this dread that they're going to come and get you again. These are the things that I'm talking about, that this great gift that we've been given. Yes, people have lost their jobs. Yes, people are hurting. Yes. So that people can heal. You are okay, my brother and sister. You're okay. Charity. Let me talk about charity. Merriam-Webster's dictionary defines charity as a benevolent goodwill and love towards your fellow human being. Charity. A benevolent goodwill and love towards your fellow human being. Abraham Lincoln said, with charity for all and malice for none. That's how we heal. That's how we get to heal now. That's how we heal tomorrow. That's how we will always heal. Where love is present, truth will come forth, resulting in our personal freedom. The news headlines are not your truth, so don't accept them as your truth. Your truth is your truth. So bring forth your truth. Bring it forth in love. Bring it forth in safety. And whatever has caused you pain, to detract from the beauty and peace and safety that you have always craved to live in and with. Look at those things and discard them out of you. You do not have to carry pain and trauma any longer. Humanity gets to heal. This is the time. I believe right now is the beginning of the Great Awakening that I have been looking for my whole life. And I read a lot of people and authors and books and videos, and I watch and I consume this content talking about a great awakening. But very few, if any, have ever talked about what it will take to create the great awakening. It's always darkest before the dawn, and it's always coldest before the dawn. It takes this pandemic to create the awakening, to create people to question. And look, I wrote this the other day on Instagram. Questions lead to answers, and answers should lead to more questions. Answers do not lead to answers, lead to answers. Answers should lead to questions, and questions should lead to answers. There's many of us who have found answers, and I mean on the human scale, who have found answers and stopped questioning, and then used those answers as weapons towards other people who have yet to ask the question that led to the answer that you asked. So be patient, have compassion. Don't judge, but love. Stand in love, walk in love, speak in love. And let me define love. Love always gives your highest good, always. Love has never taken from you. Love will never take from you. So stand in that. Remember that. And learn the lesson from the American Civil War, that the southern states weren't second-class states. The southern citizens of the then Confederate States didn't become second-class citizens of the United States, but we fully integrated. And when we are done with this pandemic, I fully believe that we will do so again. So prepare your hearts and minds now. Do the work. Square up that which you are afraid of. Look at what's coming up for you, whether it's depression, fear, anger, worry, conspiracy theories, which I am not attacking, but look at where you're going and calibrate within yourself. For whatsoever is good, lovely, and pure report, whatsoever brings peace and joy. I have it written behind me right here. What side? Oh, yeah, right there. Love, joy, peace, long suffering, faith, goodness, temperance, meekness, gentleness. if those aren't being produced in you, then you know what you're consuming is not true. Because truth makes you free. And you cannot condemn those words behind me: love, joy, peace, long-suffering, goodness, gentle, faith, temperance, meekness. But you can condemn malice. You can condemn judgment. You can condemn envy and anger. And we don't need that. We need love. Love, love, love. The very first song globally ever broadcast on planet Earth through satellite television was the Beatles' song that the world had never heard prior to that. And it was the song Love. All we need is love. If that was the very first global broadcast on planet Earth, don't you think that there is a higher intelligence and a higher providence and a higher order messaging to us as humans of what we truly need? And that is love. And when you think you have all the love that you ever can have, there's always more. However, we experience that love by creating room to receive that love. And in order to create room to receive that love, we must get the hurt, the pain, the fear, the judgment, the confusion out of us. And the way you get things out of you is to speak them out, to articulate them out of your mouth, to talk about all the ugly, dirty things that have ever happened to you or are happening to you right now. This may be the most traumatic thing you've ever gone through, and that's okay. Because once we get out of this, we can all know we all went through it together. And if we all went through it together, that means we've all gone through it together, and we'll go through the next phase of humanity together. United, not divided, with charity for all and malice towards none. I love you, my brothers and sisters. I'm standing for you. I'm speaking for you. I'm praying for you. And I'm standing with you so that you can receive the healing, the freedom, and the joy that you truly want to see in your life. You get to stand for you. And then you get to stand for others. My name is Lucas Mack. Thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. If you're watching on the replay, share this video, put some comments, questions, and let's go, guys. It's time. Happy Saturday.